The men's hockey program was saddened in May with the passing of an icon, a man who greeted all patrons with a warm welcome, a big belly laugh, and a friendly smile, all the while trying to sell you a few 50-50 tickets. Today we reflect on the life of a man who truly was a friend to all, Harry James. Today in Panther Primer, we're pleased to welcome onto the set Mike James, son of Harry James. Mike, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Norm, for having me.
So Mike, I guess just to start off, it's been a few months since Harry's passing. How's family doing?
Not too bad, Norm. As you would know, probably there's a big hole there. You just don't know how big the hole is.
Yeah.
So, when you're used to some routines with them, you used to go to breakfast with them every Saturday or Sunday morning, those days got some holes. So.
Sure.
But I think we're not doing too bad when you look back and over the last my 60 years with them.
Yeah.
It's been pretty good.
Good stuff. So, Islanders, if there's a guy who was probably one of the most well-known personalities on Prince Edward Island, it might be your father. If you think about the number of homes as being the friendly repairman that he was for so many people, it must have been incalculable the number of homes that he would have done the doorstep over the course of his career, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. He was a people person, so going into those homes he enjoyed, and obviously his customers enjoyed as well.
Yeah.
So, but just over the last 3 or 4 months, you really get to feel it because every time you're running into somebody, they've got a story for us,
right.
And that's always a pretty positive story. So it's been quite a ride.
Cool. So hockey has clearly been a passion of Harry his whole life. The Panthers have been near and dear to his heart over the course of time, but if you look back in Harry's career, there's probably a team that might be he would have been equally passionate about or equally involved in. Can you maybe touch on a team that Harry was heavily involved with early on in his hockey career?
It's interesting when you say that. Back in the late 1969, 1970 range, he got a sponsor, and he sponsored the, I guess today's world would be the AA team in Sherwood called Carver's Mites.
Right.
And the
Is that the Oren Carver
exactly
Fuels?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Carver's Fuels.
Yeah.
So the interesting part about that one is that he coached that team for about 20 years.
Wow.
And so I'd be the first bracket there, and then Todd 11 years later went through, and then actually him and Todd coached it together.
Oh, nice.
So and he stayed there even though Todd and I were playing at different levels. He maintained, so that was probably, if you go back and think about those Sherwood days, it had been Harry James coaching novice,
right,
which was Mites back then, Keir Jones, paperweight,
yeah.
And then Dennis Clough would be the Kentucky Colonels.
Right.
So those three were together for consistency, I guess, for numerous years together.
Wow. You talk about a legacy of a program in terms of the consistency that would have been there. They would have been all like-minded and developing players and having fun too, right?
No question. Like I say, that goes back to the point with the old barn out here at UPEI, because Sherwood back then didn't have a rink.
Yeah.
So we'd be scraping the ice with the shovels and dead, and then we'd be
freezing
the barrels.
toes.
Yeah, we were doing the barrels. So that's been a long time. But yeah, that was an interesting part of life.
There you go. So Mike, we're sitting here in Harry's seats. This was his other passion later in hockey, and this is a seat that you would have sat in many times with your dad, at least for the third period after he'd done his ticket sales. But where did the love of the Panthers come from Harry, and what did it mean to him to be part of this program?
It was an interesting thing with him. I think it started because being out here at UPEI with the Sherwood minor hockey system for years, and then it just consisted on from them, and it was quite interesting how he fell in love with the Panthers. We couldn't do a family trip. We'd have to go through the UPEI hockey schedule to make sure that we didn't disrupt that of him being here and doing his job, I would say.
Yeah.
But that's how passionate he was with it.
Yeah.
Is that we couldn't, and he's been to numerous nationals and playoff games at a province. So
right.
it was a big thing for him.
He must have took a little extra level of pride seeing his son wearing the green and white, you'd have to think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was proud of everyone.
Sure he was.
But saying that, yeah, actually to have Todd out here a couple of years and him coming, but he took great pride in this team. And it's interesting when he was fixing washers and that at UPEI, that was his favorite thing to do, was go to the dorms and meet the players, right? And I guess we're allowed to say it today, but I can remember him offering players a 24 beer if they scored a goal or something for that night. So it was, my mother would turn her head, but that's what it took back then. Yeah.
So, Mike, this is a big weekend for the. It's been a few months in the making. The recognition for Harry this weekend, knowing that the 50-50 is going to bear Harry's name for the future for years going forward. It must be a pretty special feeling for you guys, knowing that his name's going to be carried on in perpetuity for the UPEI program, and that it will always be remembered for the work that he did here for the program.
We are very appreciative of the whole thoughtfulness. We're looking forward to it. Melissa, my sister, and Todd, my other brother Wade, lives in Halifax. But we've been, it's been quite an honor, and he would appreciate. He's pretty humble.
Yeah.
He may not have liked it, but we're going to enjoy it, and we're very thankful to the Panthers and the university for it.
Well, Mike, I'm going to have to find a new guy to buy my 50-50 tickets, because the only guy that I ever won from is when I bought a ticket from your dad. So I'm going to have to try and find a new lightning in a bottle and see if we can get it happen. But listen, your father was a tremendous man, and it's a big loss for our community, certainly for the men's hockey program, and indeed the island. And thanks for coming on and sharing a little bit about your dad, and condolences to you and the family for sure.
Thank you, Norman, for having us, and we will enjoy Friday night.
We'll see you this weekend.
Thanks.